Oh man, I cut my hair. I don't know if I like it. Don't know if I like it. All right, so I can only speak on what I know and what I've seen and what I've lived. And I'm happy to be corrected if somebody can prove the statement I'm about to make otherwise. But for many black kids growing up in the early 2000s and the late 2000s, it just wasn't cool to be black. It wasn't cool. Let's not try and sugarcoat it. Let's not try and pretend, yeah? Because we all know that one guy whose name was Sean, but went around telling man that his name was Sean. Or we all know that one brother called Winga who told everybody that his name was GB. You're a fraud. Like GB News, you're a fraud. And you know who I have to blame? The mass media. I blame them for everything. The devil works hard, but the mainstream media works harder. The media industry has allowed people like Katie Hopkins to just run riot for the last decade, chatting shit about everyone and anyone at any given opportunity. And I really do hope she's having a shit day today.
Because if you're an immigrant, Muslim, a full-time mother, black, suffering from mental health, overweight, Palestinian, wearing bad clothes, a feminist, have a tattoo, transgender, homosexual, Scottish, an Ebola victim, an asylum seeker, or if your name is Chardonnay, Chantal, Charmaine, Tyler, Brooklyn, Adelaide, Orlando, or Rio, or Jordan, or Paris, or any geographical location, she doesn't like you.
The reason why I blame the media is because they have continually peddled this narrative that Africa equals poverty. Like, from a young'un, despite the many stories that my parents and my aunts and my uncles would tell me of life back home, all it took was just one flick of the channel to BBC's One's Comic Relief, or watch an Oxfam advert where you'd see a malnourished black baby with flies around their head living in the worst of conditions. Now, I'm not saying that poverty doesn't exist, but evidently that is not the full story. I mean, just ask Madonna or Angelina Jolie. The white savior complex and the Western world's desire to help these poor countries like they didn't destabilize our economies, steal our resources, rape our women, and sell us as slaves. And that's not even a half of it. But forget all of that. It's in the past, man. It's in the past. Reparations? Good joke, Lewis Hamilton. Now, go race your little car around for my entertainment. Because that's clearly all black people look at that. Entertaining white people.
Oh, and LeBron and Kevin, you're great players, but no one voted for you. Millions elected Trump to be their coach. So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble. We'll be right back.
But anyways, once again, I digress. I do a lot of hand movements. Yeah, don't know what the hell that was. Being African wasn't cool until it became cool. And it's mad, yeah, because when I look back at it, there was a lot of internalized self-hate amongst a lot of young black kids of African descent. And for me, I'm not saying this is the moment, but this is one of the moments where I started to see a little bit of a shift. And that shift was when T-Boy, aka Don't Jealous Me, released this video.
Don't jealous me. Pass letter 7. Shit, man. Guys, I'm sure that wheelbarrow of a human being has got the message now. Don't do it again, or you receive hellbook.
Now, as pivotal as a moment this is, I'm gonna hold my horses for a second, and I'm not gonna speak about Don't Jealous Me just yet. I'm gonna save him and some other stuff I'm gonna discuss in a completely separate video. So we're gonna park our horses for now. In the meantime, I want to take you to Valentine's Day 2014, Link Up TV specifically. And you see how I always say there's a single moment in life where things just shift, whether you anticipate it or not? Well, for me, this was a monumental moment.
One day I was feeling, got me thinking about my niggas that be locked in the window. Move out, show them how they tingle. I tell her, hey, lily, I drop your tingle. Fine boy, no pimple, hey, lily. She says she keep on hearing my ringtone. Fine boy, no wrinkles, hey, lily. Baby really hate my ringtone.
Firstly, I have to say, this song has not aged well at all. This song has aged like Nigerian fried rice. And if you've ever had Nigerian fried rice and you've left it out for more than 2 hours, you know what the hell I'm on about. The music nerd in me struggles to listen to this because I'm gonna get really technical here, but not really that technical. But the mix is off, the vocals are off, and it just doesn't really sound that sonically pleasing. But for nostalgia purposes, it really does take me back. And for me, Timbo might not have realized what he did with this particular hook, but in that hook, he basically birthed an entire new genre that was basically about to grab the British music scene by the you-know-whats. And for those that didn't quite get it, it's kind of like Donald Trump grabbing people by the... You know what, never mind.
Grab him by the pussy.
So, this episode is simply called Afrobeats into Afroswing. This is a sweeping generalization, but this is specifically targeted to all of my Americans watching this right now. London is not a country. London is not a country, and London is not the only part of this country. And I remember this vividly, oh my God. I went to New York once upon a time, and obviously my accent stuck out. And I remember I was approached by another young black fellow, and his remark that he greeted me with was, "Damn, they got niggas in London?" And I'm still trying to process that statement to this day because there are black people over the world. What the hell does that even mean? I'm not gonna do the inter-America, UK rivalry thing, but that's gonna be a topic of conversation for another day. This will spiral into something that I don't wanna do right now, but I'm gonna come to this another time. All I know is, Americans, you guys have the worst geography in the world. The geography they're teaching you over there is poor.
Man, it's been a while since I've been in school.
That's okay. Any country on the map.
Africa.
That's a continent.
Country. Damn it.
How about a country in Africa?
I know South Africa's over here somewhere.
No,
it's
south.
down here, yeah.
Yeah, it's south.
Oops.
The reason why I say this is because I want to talk to you about the Midlands for a hot second. And if you didn't know, it's literally called the Midlands because it's in the middle of England. You know, it's kind of self-explanatory, but you've got to cater to the slow ones at the back. There's Coventry, there's Wolverhampton, there's Birmingham, there's Leicester, there's Nottingham, there's Derby. There's nothing in Derby. I've been there. It's an awful city. Don't go to Derby. I'm sorry. No one in Derby did anything wrong to me, but that place is a shithole. Not as bad as Luton though. Anyways, now from about the year 2011 onwards, a significant amount of black British students moved to universities in the Midlands area. And if I was to ask any Brit, what comes to mind when I say the city Leicester? Some of the responses will be along the lines of this. Premier League winners. Illegal garment factories paying their staff way below the minimum wage in order to supply clothes to fast fashion brands. Walker Crisps. Gary Lineker. Now, when you mention Leicester to me, and maybe to some other black people, I think of Club Republic, The Big Clash, Barfest, mac and cheese, and wings at Filbert Village. If you know, you know.
Look, man, I had to block this girl from DMU. It was a virus. I didn't DM you. Out of all the girls in DMU, why the hell would I DM you?
All of these young students move into these cities. With them, they brought this new, exciting black experience. Did I use the right fingers? Giggity. I can't quite articulate it, but I know what I'm trying to say here, and I feel like if you're watching this, you've obviously got some level of interest, so you know what I'm on about here. So bringing it back to Timbo, he was just very consistent with this new sound of his, and his tunes will literally ring off in all of the unimotives. Pun very much intended. Then the likes of YFS, Malogo, SK, Sonar, Qualms and Flavor, and many, many others began to emerge and double down on their Africanism. Is that a word? Is Africanism a word? These men were singing in their native languages, making cultural references to Africa in their songs, creating dance routines for their videos, but still had this very clear British identity. It was this really great merging of two worlds, and for the first time it felt like people were actually beginning to fully embrace the fact that they were African. And it's mad, yeah, because this era that I'm speaking about is still very much the UK Afrobeats era of music, which is completely unrelated to Afroswing, but it's all part of the narrative and they all play into one another. Now, I want to talk about the London borough of Newham next, but before we do all of that, here are 3 of my favourite songs from the UK Afrobeats era.
Okay, baby, let me break it down. Let me take you out. No island now. Show you ready now, baby. Let me break it down. Let me take you out. No island now. Show you ready now.
Hello, what's your name? African queen so bad. Mama, where you bad, yo? Come give it to daddy, yo.
Newham, a borough in London with arguably the stupidest of names, New and Ham. I want to know who came up with that name, and whoever did come up with that name needs to be flogged. Oh my God, that actually reminds me, I believe there is an article somewhere on the internet with all of the names of funny locations in England. Hold on, I'm gonna find this. All right, cool. There is Butthole Lane, which is ironically in Leicester. That place actually smells like bum as well. There is Fanny Street in Cardiff. I'm a child. There is Semi-Cock Road. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put this down. Let me get back to the video. All right, so this is the power of editing, because you don't even know what just happened. You won't even be able to tell the difference. But I stopped recording this video from the last thing that I said for 4 hours because I went to go and fry plantain. I say this all the time, yeah. God made 2 wonderful creations. He's made many, many wonderful things, but 2 of the greatest things he ever made, black women and plantain, in that order. Plantain is the love of my life after black women. But I digress. Anyways, where was I? 4 hours later. Newham. Back to Newham. So Newham was the home to 3 generational talents. And for the purposes of this specific analogy, I'm going to call these talents Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, right? But Messi is quite clearly the best out of the other 2. And for this analogy, the other 2 don't like him at all. At all, at all. And of course, for those that aren't really clocking onto what I'm saying, I am talking about J Hus, Kojo Funds, and Young Bane. Now, I'm going to stop the video here. And I'm going to emphasize I'm only here to discuss the music. All the other stuff, all the other things that happens, and it's none of my business. None of my business at all. I don't want wahala. I don't want any troubles.
No lie, no 4 or 5 and make your chest decline. And if you wanna ride, then come ride. And I'ma hit him up, yes, no lie. For the other side.
Kojo's lying, time for confessions. Kojo what? Kojo who? Kojo who? I make more funds than you. And now
I'm gonna go on record and say this now, yeah. I can be very hyperbolic, but J Hus is in my top 10 favorite artists of all time. I'm not even joking. Of all time, like, the man is a magician, a black magician, because once again, you know what, let's keep it to the music. Let's keep it to the music. And the thing is, I remember, yeah, I think I was in my uni kitchen in first year, this is around 2014 time, and my very good friend Lynette, shout out Lynette, showed me this song.
pass the dutchie on the left hand side, pass the dutchie on the left hand side.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, the first time I heard this song, I genuinely thought it was whack. Like, you gotta remember, I've come from the school of listening to squeaks and scraps and nines, and this just, I didn't get it, you know? It just wasn't connecting for me. However, it wasn't until I went to a rave for the first time and I heard it get played in the rave, that's when I first saw the impact that the song was having. And then, a few weeks later, I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw this video.
Hey yo, my you can't eat pum pum and try draw my zoo. No way, no way. Hey yo, my you can't eat pum pum and try draw my zoo.
And then I saw this video.
I tried to compose myself, I tried so hard. Her body make an atheist say, oh my God, she might.
That's when I knew that this guy was gonna be a problem, because Man was coming with the most randomest of lines and fusing African and Caribbean sounds and still managing to sound like he was from the ends. It was very, very weird because, as I said, I listened to Scraps and to Nines, but J Hus wasn't a traditional rapper and he wasn't a traditional singer either. He was like this very weird hybrid of both, and it just worked really, really well. And that was when I really sat up and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention, because for me, this was the beginning of a very transitional phase in Black British music.
Niggas never killed me, but they shoulda. I bang bang and I still get moolah.
And then over in Canning Town, you had Kojo Funds and Young Bane, both respectively doing their own thing. So Kojo, who had the original Want From Me, there was My Nine, and my favorite Afroswing song ever. My favorite, oh my God, I love this song. Yeah, Kojo Funds with Robbery.
It's a robbery. Nigga, it's a robbery.
When I say I love this song, I love this song. Because can we deep what a man did with this? A man sang, it's a robbery. Nigga, it's a robbery. Yeah, 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 yeah. In the sweetest of melodies. Like, you don't know whether to dance or to be scared. It's quite the confusion. And then with Bane, he had tunes like Lone Wolf, Doubted Me, and BOE Freestyle.
You know they woke the beast, he came apart, he's fucking sleep. Yeah, 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 yeah. And man know the kid, he came apart, the garden streets. Yeah, yeah.
But when the two of them joined forces on Fine Wine, the game was truly about to change. And Afroswing was really about to take over. But Notes' Addison Lee was a bona fide smash hit, an absolute smash hit, to the point where I feel sorry for anybody called Madison, because you must find the song even more annoying than I do.